Are we live? We's live. Hello everybody peeps. Good evening. It's about 2.5 minutes to 9 o'clock. And myself and his nibs. I keep doing that. His nibs, this one here. Right hand marker. I've got my watch on, that's what it is. Yes, we're here. Yes, it's almost time to go along with the old, show. And let me just shove up that one. Yeah. So vaping jugglers, new drippers are in the ultrasonic cleaner. Might get them coiled by the end of #Vaper Scene if I'm not distracted. You might get a bit distracted, Ridian. Yeah, at least one would hope so. You can, of course, tweet us using the #Vaper Scene throughout the show. And I'm hoping you will do, because we've not got a lot of content this week. We're winging it.
I love it.
Because we've both been poorly sick, as you can probably hear by my voice. Still poorly sick. Yes, we are live. Just about, Ridian. Hello, Mike B, Blaze, Whip, DTR, Rob. Who else is in there? Wrong mouse, Marco. News coming in. Jersey Dave. Hello, Jersey Dave. Joe's FOK. Graham. Entwistle. Hello. Yes, hello, Sav. Sav's in chat. Ooh, that's going a bit weird on my green screen. How did you notice that? It kind of went a bit weird. I'll just turn the brightness down on that light. That might solve it. Right, there we go. It's all good. It's all happening, isn't it? It's all happening, isn't it, Mr. Dibbers?
It is, yes. I'm frantically message you sent me before the show, and
it's on my other Skype.
Aha, that would be it.
It's not on this Skype. It's on the other Skype. Yeah.
Okay.
Because we've got about 20 seconds, my old China.
Yeah, I know. That'd be
Mr.
good.
Hi-Fi Stud is in the house. After moving loads of cables and confusing the bejesus out of me in our Skype chat. But there you go. Right, I'll make it 10 seconds. So I think, let's have the bug. Show the bug? Yeah, key 8. Here we go. Doing two things at the same time. Good evening. Welcome to this week of Vaper Scene. So lots going on today. Lots going on. Trying to get Gary a message on Skype, and he's not quite sure where it's gone to.
No.
There you go.
No, I'm still clicking.
He's still clicking. Yes, me and Mr. Dibley are in the house. And we are here for your fun and vaping enjoyment for the next 59 minutes here at Vape Trolls TV Towers. I hopefully won't be coughing too much, and if I do, I'll have to mute myself and put Gary on.
Yeah.
and vice versa. But interspersed with some VT and some bits of news and stuff as per normal. So all that has to be after what we like to call the titles, which is apparently on key 9. Yeah, it's Vaper Scene.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Yes, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of Vaper Scene. It is Tuesday, and it's the 2nd of December in the year of our Lord, 2014. And apologies for my nasalness, my throatiness, as happened last week. It was a bit croaky, and it's gone pretty much downhill ever since. Yes, but there you go. We are here for your vaping enjoyment. Don't forget, you can tweet the show using that key. Oh, not that key, this key. There you go. Oh dear. Using hashtag Vaper Scene, as some people have already. Miles Dolphin has tweeted. He has tweeted. If I go to this one. Yes, there we go. Yes, hi Marco, good to hear you. Thank you, Miles. Yes, always good to be heard. And Mr. Hi-Fi Stud has also tweeted. Marco and Garry are doing Vaper Scene even as we type. Now the Garry might be might be a reference to the fact that for ages I spent Gary's name with one R and not two, as it should be, as it is there with two R's. And every week Sav reminds me that it's two R's.
Yes. Very particular about my R's.
Yes.
R's.
Yes. Your R's.
Yes. R's.
He's very particular.
I see Dave Dawn pointed out the I must explain the T-shirt because
we can't see it on that shot actually. Hold on.
Look, I'll sit up. Look, a little bit. It says 1972, and last weekend we had a big party. It was me sister-in-law's 40th. So I got this T-shirt, and I said, I've got this to honour your birthday, and she went, but I wasn't born in 1972. And I said, yes, but I was going on looks. Went down well.
And he still lives. The man still lives after that. Oh dear, what you like.
She loves me. That's all I can say.
Just as well, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, just as well.
Yeah.
Just as well. Yes. I was drunk at the time, but there's no excuse. No excuse at all. Well, what can I say to possibly follow that? I really don't know. But let's have some bits of news now. Earlier on this week on Facebook, I was saddened to see a post on the Yorkshire Vape Fest, which was going to be, and I do say was going to be, the May bank holiday weekend next year. And Chris posted this on the Yorkshire Vape Fest Facebook page, and it said, "It's with deep regret that I and Paul Greenwood have to announce that unfortunately, and because of circumstances out of our control, this event will not be taking place next year. Nobody's more upset and gutted that it won't be happening than I am. It was my baby, and I recruited another 4 like-minded people to help with the setting up and organising. We had a great venue sorted, but because of the other admins either became disinterested or dropped out, and the fact that we had a very poor response from vendors, it simply can't work without them. It just can't happen in the timescale we have left. I know this will upset a lot of people, and for that I'm sorry. Hope you understand. I can assure you that my intentions were honourable, but I'm the only one left with egg on my face." I don't think you got egg on your face at all, mate. I've met Chris a few times. He's a super smashing guy, and it's just he's a victim of circumstance. It was a damn good idea, and the venue was about 20 minutes from my house, so it would have been ace to get it going. But let's hope that we get another Vape Fest 2015 and we get a Yorkshire Vape Fest in 2016. But we do need vendors to be involved because without the vendors, there's no turning up, is there? No, I think we're definitely getting a Vape Fest 2015. I can probably say that for certain-ish, possibly, shouldn't say anything. We're getting one for 2015, maybe.
Yes, that one. We'll get this shot. Yes, hopefully we'll get a 2015 Vape Fest.
Yeah, no, I think we are. Yes.
Look, I moved to me, and then you start talking. So like that, I've then got to press another key.
I'm just confused.
I'll just keep this dual shot with you and me in it for a while.
Yeah. No, I was gutted about the the Yorkshire one, because I was looking forward for a little trip up north.
Yeah, you was going to stay in my spare room, weren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know whether because there's the thing going around about the other one in May, isn't there? Which is the there's been a lot of vape jam, I believe, which is going around as well.
That's the one in Olympia, isn't it?
In Olympia in London, yeah, which is also going to be in May.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that may have had a part to play with vendors looking to be at the Olympia event rather than the Yorkshire event when it was announced. I don't know, but it's a shame. It is a shame, because I think that would have been a nice little, if you like. It would probably gone back to what Vape Fest was a few years ago in a way.
Well, it started as the East West Midlands meet, didn't it? Mini meet.
Yes.
First one.
Yeah.
Have you been to Olympia?
I have, yeah.
It is huge. I've been to Olympia a few times. I used to live in Fulham, which is just at the end of, Olympia's at the end of North End Road in Fulham. And I used to live there, and I've been to Olympia quite a few times for lots of little events. So it is big. So I wonder how much can be filled with a vaping thing. But we'll keep an eye on that one, and we'll bring you info when we get it, really, on that one. The other thing that has kind of cropped up over the past couple of days is a whole battery issue, and it's been on UK Vapors, and this is the kind of front post on that, and it's in relation to VTC 5s, Sony VTC 5s, that are possibly fake. And on the screen there you'll see there's 4 batteries, and the one next to the blue is apparently a pucker Sony VTC 5. And Torchy's been doing some looking at some batteries after somebody contacted him. Now, there are many pages, it's about 11 pages on this, on UK Vapors. And if Gary's got the link, so you can always shove that into chat at some point, Gary. Do excuse my sniffling. And I've been watching it over the past couple of days, and I contacted UK Six Door for a comment, because the stuff that had been posted in there, I wasn't sure whether that had come from UK Six Door or not. So I asked them earlier on for official word, and this is what UK Six Door are saying. They're saying, we take these accusations very seriously, and while it should be noted that there is no actual proof that the batteries are ours, we do not doubt the integrity of those who conducted the independent test. As you know, we do not sell clones or illegitimate items, and have always taken this stance. We are currently in the process of testing the VTC 5s in question, which with results due this week. If the findings match those conducted in independent test, then we shall be taking immediate and necessary action. For now, we have advised our customers to cease using the batteries as a precaution, and have offered refunds to those who do not wish to wait. Now, I've got a couple of them actually. That's not one, that's a VTC 4. These are both VTC 5s from UK Six Door, and they are green, which is why they look a bit weird on the screen. And I've looked at the posts, and I've looked at all the pictures that identify the fakes from the real ones, and as far as I can tell, these are genuine. However, if they turn out not to be, then UK Six Door will give me my money back, because I did pay for these. But what's a bit upsetting is when things like this happen, people jump on and don't give vendors enough time to get things sorted, to get the investigations done before the mud starts getting slinged about. And I really wish that people would just give people a chance. You know, the Liberty Flights got caned for the whole recall of a mod they thought was dodgy, so they recalled it and they got bad mouthed for it. You know, the UK Six Door have said if they are found to be not genuine, then they will sort the problem out and they will give people their money back. And don't forget, if they've bought them from another supplier, then they've bought them as genuine, just as other people would have bought them as being genuine. So watch this space, because I'll keep bringing you information, and I'm in touch with Michael at e-cigs store, and we'll keep you informed what's going on. What do you make of it, Garry? Because I know you have comments.
I think the first one is we're a funny bunch, vapors, aren't we? We are a strange breed, and that's for sure. We press a button on the internet and we expect to knock at the door to get it delivered the second you buy it, and if it's not there the next day, we all moan. And the other sort of, I look at that chart and I looked at it and it does wavy things, and I wouldn't have a bleeding clue looking at that chart whether it is an original or whether it wasn't, to be completely honest with you. But it is true what you say. There never seems to be the right way of doing anything. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And I think at the end of the day, the way that a vendor reacts to a situation talks more than if you like hiding from a problem. They've come straight forward with a statement. They've offered refunds for those that don't want to wait. And they're looking into and having tests done on the stock that they've got. In my view, what more can they do? And no doubt they'll publish the reports when they're done, and the reports will be again carried out by an independent, test facility or whatever they use. And people are just going to have to take that as they find it, I suppose. And if you don't like it, there's a refund. It's a hard one to. It must be a horrible position to be in for a vendor, because you're straight away on the back foot. And where'd you go with that? You can hide or you can confront it, and the people that confront it, in my book, are the worthy vendors, if you get me.
I do apologise, I'd muted myself because I was coughing. I just saw in chat about a bit of bin bag. I think you can probably see something that I've got. Oh, there it is. See, this is a bin bag, okay, and it's full of rock wool, which is on top of my PC to try and stifle the noise from all my fans of the on the thing. So that's what Dave's alluding to. If I took it off, you'd get all the fans on the top, because they do make a bit of noise. Yes, there you go. I'll move that shortly. In fact, I'll go to Garry. Garry, yeah, you can just talk for a couple of minutes while I sort that out.
Oh, I can talk for ages, mate. I don't have a problem with that. It's just whether people would actually stay tuned is another thing. Like I was saying, with that, you either hide or you confront it, and by confronting it, you put yourself in the firing line as well, don't you? And there's, like you say, there's been a lot in firing line recently. The Liberty Flights thing with the recall, and they were acting in what they thought were their customers' best interests. That got them, negative comments, as no doubt this will for these guys. But end of the day, they've done the right thing in my book by saying, if you don't want to wait, we'll refund you. If you want to wait for the results, then we can go, haha, we told you so.
Yes, you can indeed. Look, it's gone. It's gone. I've made it disappear. It's by magic. This is what happens when you set your shots up, and then you put something on top and you don't then change the shot, but never mind. Anyway, so we're going to keep an eye on this story. I'm going to keep an eye on it. Various comments in chat there. I mean, I've got Sony, I've got VTC4s, I've got Panasonics, I've got all different batteries, and I've had these for some time. If you remember, I showed you the X-Star charger at the same time when I purchased those, and they work perfectly fine for me. I've been using them on the Vic Supreme at 20 plus watts, and they've been fine, no issues at all, holding charge and all the rest of it. So, but we'll keep an eye on this story as it unfolds, and see what the outcome is, and maybe fill you in next week. I feel a trailer coming on. What do you reckon, Mr. Dibley?
probably a good idea.
Yeah.
And I'm slightly different to you. I haven't got a clue what mine are. I know I have red ones, grey ones, pink ones, and purple ones.
Batteries are batteries. As long as they work, and as long as they work to what they're supposed to work to,
Yeah.
as in ampage, discharge, and everything else, then,
they're all good. They're all good.
Then it's all good. Yeah.
Obviously, you've got to keep your. I mean, the most important thing with all of that is, regardless of whether it's a genuine one, it's a clone, it's a whatever. Get yourself a damn multimeter and keep your eye on your own batteries and look at where they are, and charge them safely. Look after them, and if anything, they may not last as long as the other one, or may not have the amp. I think that the people that got to be careful the most are the people that are pushing batteries to limits, and that's where you want to have the ding dong dangly ones. But if you're sticking it in a one of these things and you charge it and look after it properly, happy days. As far as
I'm just looking at chat there, and Hi-Fi, you're naughty. He's going to tweet the show using the bin. It's not the bin bag Vaper Scene, Mr. David Dawn. It is in fact hashtag Vaper Scene. Not hashtag bin bag. I don't know. He's not going to let me forget this one, is he? No. Just you wait. I've been watching your show, and I'll be pulling you to pieces now, I tell you. Oh yeah. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do, as it's coming up to nearly 20 past, we will have our first set of ads. And when we come back, I've had a little look, like I said last week, at the curve, a bit of a short VT, bit of a croaky voice in it, but you'll get the general idea. Yes, so we will see you after these words from our sponsors. See you in 2.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
And now it's back to Vaper Scene on Vaper Trails TV. Vaper Scene is sponsored by Health E-Vape, of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
And welcome back to part 2 of this week's Vaper Scene, minus the bin bag. Sorry, Gary and I were just conversing during the advert break, and just looking at chat there. Oh no, we've got another tweet has come in. Let's bring that tweet up. There we go, and that is Big Bo Dave. Tonight on hashtag Vape Scene, Garry Dibley is joining Marco and his top bin bag. As long as we're entertaining you folks, that's what it's all about, isn't it, Mr. Dibley?
certainly is.
It
And
is.
I don't
That's what he
know.
says.
Are we actually doing that tonight? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. No,
What's
this is
this-
entirely scripted, you know. We write it down to the minuscule thing, the minuscule second, which is why we go over it every week. Right, let's move on, because we do have some VT to show you. And I might even get a new chair for next week, because this chair is broken. Yes, so here's my little VT on the curve. There's no coughing in it because I edited it all out, but the voice is a tad croaky. But enjoy anyway. As I mentioned a few weeks ago on the show, I had one of these delivered moments before I set off up to Scotland, and I've been using it since I got back pretty much all the time. Because I wanted to get a really good look at it, and also because it is an absolutely cracking device. And what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the Curve. This is the totally wicked version of the iLeaf, basically. So let's open it up and we'll see what you get. So you get in the box, you get your Curve, you get a 1.8 coiled BDC tank. You get a set of instructions in various languages. You get your micro USB to USB cable for charging. Decent thickness, not too shabby. Does the job quite well. And you also get, in this little packet, and I couldn't get it out the first time I filmed this, and I'll tell you about that in a second. I can't get it out the second time either. There we go. And you also get a 510 to Ego threaded connector, because this has only got a 510 connector. Now, when I just said I couldn't get it out the first time, well, I've already filmed this once, but unfortunately I filmed it with my camera on pause the entire time. This is what happens when you try and do something when you're not feeling well. But there you go. We aim to please at Vape Trolls TV. Let's get that out of the way. So you'll see the tank is already filled because I filmed me filming it for you, but we'll go into that in just a second. And here we have the unit itself. It's tiny. If you've not actually seen one of these in the flesh, then I suggest you do, because they are cracking little devices. Let's just put the ruler up against it, and from top to bottom it's 3 inches tall, and it is probably 3.5 centimeters wide, something like that, but it's 3 inches tall, give or take. Tiny little thing. It's got a 2200 milliamp hour battery that lives inside behind the wicked mask there. Micro USB charging on the bottom. So simply plug in your USB charger into the USB outlet of your choice. And I've noticed a lot of double sockets now are coming with 2 1 amp rated USB outlets on them. I've not tested one yet. I might actually get one and see what they're like. But don't forget, there will be regulation in this device which will cut it off should there be any issues. It's a 510 connection on the top, and in the kit you get the 510 to Ego threaded adapter, which simply screws in to the 510 connection as you would think it would do, and it looks okay with that on the top. Let's put an EVOD on and you'll see how it looks with an EVOD. So it looks very normal, and quite small, I have to say. We'll just zoom out a little bit. The battery's running out on my remote control here. Yeah, so there you go with the EVOD on, and it fires up. I won't vape on this because this EVOD's full of something nasty. I just used it to test connection, but it's been sat there for weeks. So yes, that fits quite nicely, and I do believe, as Dave Dawn said on his show a while ago, that there is going to be another little device that fits on here which allows you to move that around. So you can put a device on and then flip it round to put in your pocket, which is quite handy. So 510 connection, very good. Now with the kit itself, obviously, you get the USB charger, you get your instruction book, you get your 510 connection to Ego connection, you get your little tank, which has got a 1.8 ohm atomizer in there, bottom coil tank. The capacity, I think it's about 1.5 mils capacity. Stainless steel 510 connection drip tip with a really nice thick connection on there, nice and stiff connection to prevent any leakage, and you fill it from the bottom as you would normally. I've got in here some Halcyon Hayes Venus in Vapes, 18 milligram, which I got from T-Juice. You do get a bottle of juice with the kit as well, and I went for the Red Label Black Kernel Licorice, which was quite nice. I also got a bottle of Sherbet Lemon, and Liam, thank you Liam at Totally Wicked, because they didn't have any 10ml bottles in, 18 milligram, so he sent me a bottle of 20ml instead, which is very good, thank you very much. The downside is I don't like the juice, but apart from that it's fine. So yes, screw your tank on into the 510 connection, and there you are. It's 5 click on and 5 click off. So that's off, and on again, and going from my right to left, or your left to right, battery indicator, it's telling me there's 1.8 ohm resistance atomizer on there, and it's telling me it's at 3.9 volts or 8.6 watts. If you press your fire button 3 times, you will see it changes from variable wattage to variable voltage, and conversely, if you're already in variable voltage, 3 times will take you into variable wattage. The 2 buttons here, up and down, very simply. If you keep it pressed down now, it will keep going in the direction of the button. So in this case, it's counting up until you then press the opposite button to stop it. So I've stopped it at 12 watts. So it's at the moment on that coil, it's 1.8 coil, 4.6 volts or 12 watts. And this goes all the way up to 20, which is damn good for a little device that size, I have to say. And I do believe there's a 30 watt version of this coming out now. And there you go. I think it needs a little bit more in the way of power for this particular tank, so I'm taking it up to 14 watts. See there, 14 watts. I'm just trying to get so the lights don't shine back off the screen. And it's vaping rather nicely. The tank's a little bit airy for me, I have to say. I'll keep using it, and I'll let you know more on Tuesday's show. But I have to say, the iLeaf or the Curve, if you haven't got one, buy one. You know, they're between 30 and 40 quid, depending on where you buy them, and depending on what you get with it. As I said, this was $39.99 of my hard-earned cash from Totally Wicked. I paid for this myself. I am absolutely loving it. It's a cracking device, and thank you to Dave Dawn, because I saw Dave's at the Knees Meet, and I went and purchased one. That is the beauty, my friends, that is the beauty of going to meetings, going to vape meets, because you meet other people, you see their devices, and you think, oh, that is good, I'll have one of those. Instead of looking at a screen and saying, well, you know, that looks good, or seeing someone's review. If you can actually go somewhere, feel it, touch it, vape it, a bit like the VIP ad. You know, if you can use it, you can put your own device on and see how your device vapes on someone else's mod. Then you've got a better idea. This is why vape meets are so important, and it's, you know, it's all about the community. So if you don't have a meet in your area, if you can't get to, say, Vape Fest, or you can't get to the Knees Meet, or you can't get to the Scottish meets up in Edinburgh, get your own sorted and let us know, and we will publicise it for you. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'm going for a lem sip, and I'll see you back in the studio.
And there you go, back to the studio. Now, I've got a little update on that.
and that is the tank that I showed you died just after making that bit of VT, and it's only coming up at 0.7 ohms now on the device. I spoke to Totally Wicked and they have sent me a replacement, so that is coming tomorrow. So thank you very much to TW for honouring their dead on arrival warranty. I did explain that was the first time I'd actually put it on the device, even though I've had the device for 3 weeks. They didn't, strictly speaking, have to give me a new one, but they have done. So thank you much. So I shall probably play with that next week. But yes, as I mentioned in that bit of VT, vape meets are so important, because when I was at the Knees meet and I was talking to Dave showed me his device and I had a little vape on it, and I thought I rather like that. So it's always good to meet other vapors and see their devices and try them out, and it's much better than just watching a YouTube review or watching us showing you something. If you can actually get it in your hand and have a play with the mod before chat goes crazy with innuendo and double entendre, I think it's a perfect way of finding the next device for you, really, rather than stabbing in the dark and just going on the reviews and stuff. What do you think, Mr. Dibley?
No, I totally agree. As well as swapping juice at some of these meets, that is also a must. Yeah, I like the little, what do you call it? Yours is a curve, mine's a stick.
Yeah.
The same thing, essentially. I know a lot of people have said that obviously there's a bit of a difference in terms of what it says is putting out in terms of wattage and what it is actually putting out in wattage. But I think for the price point it's at, and it's one of those devices you can just set where you want it. I'd do it by and to be honest, from how I've used it, it's not that far out. I can't see it being a million miles. But I believe Dave's going to dissect one at one point, isn't he, and have a look on scopes and bits and pieces. He said at one point in one of his shows. But yeah, it's a bloody good device for the price point. It's a modern day Vamo, I think, for where they sit. A lot more dinky, packs a punch, and it just lasts forever. The charge on mine just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Can I just say something? I'd like to say hello to Debbie and Craig if you're watching.
There you go. Hello, Debbie and Craig. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting 2.5 days of vaping out of them. So I'm really impressed for such a small mod and for such a relatively cheap mod as well. It is very nice indeed, and I'm liking it a lot. Right, we are going to go into the next edition of MFT with Mr. Garry Dibley. And what I've done is I've split this today into 2 sections. So we're going to have the section 1 now, then we're going to go to the ads, then we're going to come back, waffle some more, and then you're going to get the next part. Yeah, instead of having it all in one go. So here is the next edition, or part 1 of the next edition. When I find it, it's here somewhere. There it is. We'll see you in a minute. Gary's now going to play with a silver bullet. Haven't seen one of them in a long time. Enjoy.
Okay, so we're back down on the bench for another week, and this week I've had to leave the acrylic. I don't have the clone in place to be able to build that, so we're going to go to the fixing bit. And for the fixing bit this week, I have one of the most iconic and probably one of the best mods I have ever used, which is it's a silver bullet, and Cat and Sav will tell you these were the donglies in the day. They have a lovely anti-vandal switch, and the size of these were probably, I believe now looking at it, due to having a really reliable switch, because back then switches were a problem. Problem with this one has been that the bane of my life, the rubber in the insert has gone, and there are a few steps to go through when you need to do this. First of all, we nick the silver bullet. The spring is just dropped down inside the tube. That makes contact with the tube, which sends the neg up through the body. Body picks up the neg and passes it through to the atomizer connection outer ring. The inner portion here is wired through the switch, and that goes out through this bit, which does the dingly doogles that way. These, when they come, are sealed right in. Now, I've worked this one clear so we can have a little look down inside here. Now, what I'm going to have to do is probably remove this. Let's see how far I can go. Ooh, down here, back there. So I'm going to have to desolder this middle pin, and it's got a little protective strip on the top there to stop it shorting out on said switch down inside. Now, when you, I'll tell you what I'll do, let me remove that. I have to put something back. I'm going to tag that up there, probably put that back. Let me just tin up the tip and take that pin off. If I can. Like so. So I've removed my little insulator. Now when you look down in there, you can see why the body of this is the size that it is, and it is a big old boy. It was made to house a switch that would do the job, and when planning a mod, it's pretty darned impressive. That fits down in there as snug as a bug in the rug, as they would say. Switch was held in with super glue, or not super glue, hot glue. I'm going to have to get down in there, get this hot glue out. I'm going to probably have to release the switch to be able to release this inner pin. Now, I know a lot of you could say you could ease that up inside to do it. There's not enough wire. Trust me, I've done a lot of these. So I'm going to pop away and get the super glue, get the switch out. Super glue, it's hot glue, Dibley. Sorry mate, if that's your mod. I'll pop back when we're in a position where we're going to do something down inside. Apologies for the acrylic this week. I'm waiting for a decent clone to turn up, which is going to be hard. But we will be back on that very shortly. Okay, easiest way to get that switch out is to just literally manhandle the glue out of it. It's literally just held in with a little bit of hot glue. And straight away down inside you can probably see there is a flappy ring of rubber down in there. Now that flappy ring of rubber is the one that's causing us our problems. And as you can see, when this is all sealed in, it's so very tight. You've got to take the switch out to do this. You can't do it from the top. So I'm going to use my tried and tested method, which is easing the iron in from the side. I'm just going to ease up that bit of rubber out of the way and just get that outside. It's just disintegrated. Don't you see that? Look, it's just gone. That's the rubber. That little bit there, that's the remains of the rubber. That's a lot of juice corrosion there right now. I might be able to, now I've got that free, actually ease this through this side, so I'm not bugging around trying to get an iron in. And while this is out, I'll just push the switch in a little bit to give me some white. Sorry, just seeing something doing. While that is out, that end pin is going to need a good clean. I'm just going to grip this in the jaws. There, get on there like that. Heat my iron up, tin my tip, and I'm just going to try and take that wire out of there. Now bearing in mind it's got to go back in there, so you don't want to add solder if you can help it. I know this looks rather prehistoric, but these are the thing, you know, these are the ways the top mods of the time were made, and they were bloody good, I can tell you. All of that fragments there, that's the rubber insert from that was stopping it shorting out. Let me put back into. Right, I'm just cleaning out the crud. and I've done it from the inside as well as the outside. Just so we can get this, and look at that, a little focus, lots of crud, lots and lots of crud. So our rubber that come out, basically that is the remedy of the rubber, and you can see how that has deteriorated over time, and it has been a fair time when you think about it. This mod has probably been going for, I don't know, probably about 5-6 years, something like that, roundabout, probably 4, 5, 6. It's a good mod. I have a new rubber here that's tiny that I'm going to insert in there, and when I've got that inserted in, and it is literally a case of just dropping that in hole, wiggling about and checking from the bottom to make sure it's seated properly. When that's in place, it's a simple case of just switching everything, putting everything back together. I'm going to test the switch while I'm here, and with these silver bullets, once you've got that in, there's so much room for shortage in there, but it's so well put together that you shouldn't have any. We'll come to that in a little bit. What I'm going to do is pop away. I'm going to get this rubber inserted, and then I'll come back. Right, so if you can see, I've got a new rubber inserted in there, and you can see it popping through the bottom. What I'm going to do now is just give the centre pin a little bit of a new lease of life, because it's quite dull. I've got some micro mesh here, and I'm just going to literally that pin over the top of that, and it should make this contact a damn sight of a better contact for the currents. Already you can see it coming up to a shine. When it comes to mods, and when it comes to the points and the connectors and all that sort of stuff, definitely better to keep them clean, shall we say. A clean connector on both the inners on the neg and the pos can make a damn sight of difference to the way it performs, especially on something like this, which this was, if you like, one of the original mech mods. Now, although it's not a mech mod, I know this switch very well, and it has a very high amp limit, and it just did the job. It did the job massively. I regret big time getting rid of my silver bullet. If there was one mod I would like back in my collection, is a silver bullet. And if anybody watching this wants to flog me one, let me know, I'll buy it off you. It is a silver bullet and a kick did it for me when times were hard. Not hard, but they got me through. That was the biggest turnaround in my vaping thing, was a silver bullet with a kick.
And there you go. That was the first part of MFT with Mr. Dibley. And you'll get the second part very shortly. While I was going through, just looking at chat, and Mr. Hi-Fi has sent a little tweet to Sav. Here's that tween you wanted. There you go. There's the tween you wanted. Vaper Trials Sav. Oh dear. Right, we're going to go to the second and final set of ads, and when we come back we have got the final bit of MFT with Mr. Dibley and some more waffle. Yes, so we will see you in a couple of mins.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Vapers, do you love discovering new e-liquids? Tell Dripper the types of flavours you like and they'll send you 5 gourmet juices each month. Experience new and exclusive flavours, all with a money-back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe. Dripper.co.uk.
RY4 Radio. And now it's back to Vaper Scene on Vaper Trails TV. Vaper Scene is sponsored by Healthy Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
And we are back. Hello. Thank you to our sponsors for those lovely messages. We're going to go into the second little bit of VT from Garry. And then when we come out of that, Gary's going to have a word with you. Yes. So here's the second part. And I think he's just about to connect up the bit he's just cleaned off. Let's find out. Let's go through the round window.
I can't get that middle bit out, but it's good, it's clean, and we have contact. Gonna pop away, I'm gonna get that all put together, come back into. Right, I've got me switch back in, I've got a wire push through there and one which is going out to the neg pin to the other pos pin, switch pos. And what I need to do now is just try and get this back in. Now I've had to trim the wire down a little bit because I believe that with the heat of taking this off, it's trimmed back a bit of wire. And to avoid shorts on these is going to be a big plus. So I'm just trying to ease that wire in the middle of that centre pin like we have done. Let it go. Now what I'm going to do is let that cool down before I lube it a little and push it back down through the rubber, because that now has to push back down through our new rubber, and when that is back down through our new rubber, we have to put a switch in place, pull out this one here which is going to our pos pin plate that we had, and get it all put back together and working hopefully. This is the point where so many I've done have failed, by splitting another O-ring with an overzealous blob of solder going back through. So I'm going to do this off camera. I'll come back if it works. If I don't come back, it's over to Marco in the studio, and I'll see you next week. See how we go. Okay, so that is now soldered on the middle pin. And what I'm just doing now is easing this switch in to see where it goes. Now, if you look down in here, when that switch is fully home, that switch is so near the back wall of this, and it's not fully home, as you can see. The one thing that I always did when I was looking at these, repairing them from somebody, was just to add a little bit of just standard tape, masking tape, anything like that, down into the back wall. Now the reason for that is, I might have to cut this down. I just don't want that switch touching the back wall. If that switch touches the back wall, it's a dead short. And if I can add an extra little layer of protection, I will do. So I'm going to cut down some tape, get it on the back wall. Glue gun is heating. When that's heated, I'll come back and we'll put the switch in. Right, so we're back, and I've added, let me see that, there's a layer of tape down in there. Now I know someone's going to probably say, why not use insulation tape? I don't have any handy, is the simple answer. And it just stops that pin, even though it's a few mil. I don't want any chance of that hitting that mod. The next stage in this is to now do as was done before, and literally this mod is held in and then hot glued down either side of the switch. So I'm going to do that, hold the switch in, and pop back in too. But before I do, I just want to quickly do a buzz test that we've got no shorts at all between beepometer, pause, and a neg. Nothing at all. Neg and neg. Yeah. Pause and neg. Nothing. Pause and pause. Pause and neg. Nothing. So our new little rubber is doing its job. I'm going to pop away when that literally is a case of holding this wire out of the way now. Up there. Dropping the glue in and pushing the switch in and letting it set off. Pop back when we're going to solder the top cap on. This must seem like a rapid repair, but trust me, it has taken quite a few stages. Hot glue is now set, switch is not moving. Now before I glue the, if you like, the throughput to the positive end of the battery on here, what I need to do is just make some very quick tests. And first test again is going to make sure there's no shorts between pos and the neg, which there isn't. My next test is going to be go on the positive pin, hold the positive, yeah, see this is where it gets all arse about the face, and to be honest with you, I'm feeling like crap today. I said crap, sorry. And I'll press the button and that's me throughput. So effectively my pos is coming in here through the switch and out back through there. Yeah, they're wires, but it was in its day, this was a mech mod and one of the best ones out there in my opinion. I love the silver bullet. I do love this mod, and I made it my mission to sort of work, you know, to try and work out how this thing was put together, which is why quite a lot of people now send them for repair to me. And I believe even Toby, who sold them, he still refers people on to me, and I believe this is where this one was come from. But I hope you're happy with your return. All I need to do now is just solder this middle pin back on down in there. And you want to get rid of any burrs that are on the top of there, because this is going to be pressing down on that switch while it's down in there. And again, you want to try the same process done, which is testing for continuity. So again, on the middle pin in there, that's where it gets difficult. This is where you need 4 hands. On the middle pin there, on the middle pin on this one, and try and hit the button at the same time, which is bloody easier than said. All good. What I'm going to do now is just quickly buff off that copper there, so we got a good connection on there. I'm going to use the same bit of micro mesh. Now, this is stuff I use for making the turning stuff and the tips and all that sort of stuff, but it works wonders on contacts. So I'm just going to give that a little file down. When you look at this afterwards, quite expensive stuff, this micro mesh, but it is really, really good stuff for contact. I mean, this is, I think this one is 1800 grit micro mesh. And if you look at that now, it's as copper can get. So what I need to do is apply the protection layer that was down in there, push it all together. We'll come back for some testing, and we come back where I've literally just pushed this home, and this literally does push home. And effectively that tape that was on there is like a double-sided tape, and that holds this down inside. It also holds it in place when you put a battery in there. Now I'm going to put the only battery I've got charged in the top of this and screw it up. I'm just going to come out a tad. That is, if I dare say so myself, one of the sexiest, most comfortable to hold in the hand mods I've ever come across in my vaping life. This one for me is a bit of a history trip as well as a repair. I love this bad boy. It's such a chunk. You could take something out of that, just put it that way. I'm going to screw a little spar on the top, and we should be firing now. As indeed we are. Let's have a chug on the Silver Bullet. Old meets new technology. Full repair. See, it's MFT. It's not what some of you think. It's make, fix and turn. And tonight was most definitely a fix. Let's give this a blast. In many ways tonight, the old boy's done good. Both me and this. One of my favourite ever mods. Back to Marco in the studio, and I hope next week we get our little clone to work on to insert in the tube. If not, send me something else to fix. See you later.
And there you go. That was Mr. GD fixing the old SB, which was kind of a black and silver bullet, yes. And Hi-Fi Stud, I thought you had a mink glove. Anyway, enough about that. Here's Mr. Dibbers.
Yeah, it's definitely a silver bullet. I'm not having that, Dave. It's there was the other one, which was a black bullet, and it was all black. If we want to be arsy about it, so. Yes, next week on MFT, I'm hoping to have Rob Taylor, Mr. Solid Rob himself, in the workshop. We've got a little thing planned. He might be coming down here. I'm going to chuck him on the lathe. So definitely tune in for next week, because there probably will be blood. I just want to give you a quick reminder that last week we launched the Children in Need raffle that is currently running on the UK Vapers Forum, and obviously all proceeds are going straight to the Just Giving page. Get yourself on there, get some tickets. We'll be doing the live draw here last show before Christmas, I believe, 23rd-ish, somewhere around about there, 23rd. So get yourself onto that. I was going to be talking about, I've got some new secret sauce. I've got secret sauce, which I'm going to have a little chat about that next week, because it is bloody good stuff. From Mr. Strawberry Field himself, and it's a sort of a marshmallowy custard kiwi. Believe it or not, damn good stuff. we should really end now, or we're going to get shot. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll hand you back to Marco. He can wind us up.
I'll wind you up, mate. I'll wind you up. Yes, thanks, Gary. And go over to the UK Vapors webpage for the raffle details and all that malarkey, and we shall be reminding you next week. So we are very slightly over. So don't forget, tomorrow night, as The Cave was on last night, because Drips and Tips wasn't. Drips and Tips is tomorrow night, I believe. Probably not with Andy, because he's poorly sick and he's got a burst eardrum, as I saw in our Skype chat earlier and in our chat tonight. Probably from all the coughing. I can definitely concur with the coughing, because I've been coughing a lot. But, as you know, it's not the cough that carries you off. It's the coughing that carry you off in. Ba-boom. So, there you go. Tomorrow night, it's going to be Drips and Tips or something else. Thursday, you've got the Haze Hour with Keith and Mr. David Dawn and his new studio, which I believe is going to be finished. He's been doing lots of wiring and stuff today. Sunday, Dave's Tackle Box, and then that takes us back round again to Monday for our Drips and Tips. And myself and this man here, will be back talking about secret sauce and stuff and whatever else we can do in the next 7 days. You never know. Could be an hour of waffle like it was tonight. But all that is next week. So that was it. That was Vaper Scene for this week. Say good night, Gary.
Good night.
And we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Tatty bye.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.